Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So essentially today what we'll be discussing, what I'll be talking about is the three options you have in getting a car in Canada as a new immigrant and how to go about it. So without further ado, you have three options. But before I go there, please thank you for watching. Thank you for always liking and subscribing. Thank you for sharing. We'll see you guys. And if you are yet to subscribe, if you're a new person to this channel, please remember to subscribe and smash the like button as well. So you have three options as a new immigrant to Canada in terms of getting a car. Number one option is to buy. Number two option is to lease. And number three option is to finance. So buying, leasing, and financing, those are the options you have. For buying is pretty much straightforward. Maybe you've come into the country with a lot of cash, or you're already saved for it, because the truth is, in Canada, like we said in one of our earlier videos, you actually need a car to move around, pretty much like the USA. It is not impossible to move around without a car. We did that for months, but it's not easy, especially in the out of winter. You nearly faint, So you need to buy a car to get a car. So if you decide to buy a car outrightly, that's very straightforward. Just go to a dealership. These car dealers sell cars, and you pay the full amount, and you drive home with your car. Then you go and get your insurance. No, you get your insurance actually. Insurance must be gotten before you buy a car. You cannot leave the car lot without having an insurance for the car. So that's the first option, straightforward. But for most people, they would not, be able to buy a car immediately they land in Canada. For most people, some people can actually, but a lot of people have discovered are not able to buy a car immediately they land, especially with outright purchase. So you have two options left: lease or finance. So leasing and financing are quite similar, but again, they are different. And I'll be drawing comparisons between both lease and finance, and you will look at it and see which one makes most sense for you, right? So when it comes to leasing and financing, lease means that you're going to be having monthly payment for the car, but your name is not on the title of the car. You don't own the car. Financing means you'll be paying monthly payments for the car, but your name is on the title of the car, the documents of the car, so you own the car. However, they both have their pros and cons. So I will look at it from various angles. For leasing, for instance, people that go for leasing do so because, for instance, maybe they want to keep driving the latest models of the car. Let's say you went for a Toyota Corolla 2022, and you want to drive the 2023 model when it comes out. So when the 2023 model comes out, if you leased it, just go back to those guys you leased it from. By the way, usually, so the example I'm giving is a new car, right? Brand new, Sierra Rubber. So you then go to those guys and say 2023 is out. I don't want this 2022 anymore. Let me get 2023. Of course, they will add a little charge on it, but you are good to go, right? But the downside is that there are some restrictions. So for instance, mileage. They will give you a restriction on mileage. Of course, all things being equal, you should not exceed the mileage really, because the restrictions they will give you is not that low. Except you usually use it for traveling, you do interstate commute a lot, then that is where you would have an issue. But you would typically or usually, not exceed the mileage they give you. So if you exceed the mileage, a penalty or a charge applies. So that is number one thing to know about, what they call it now, about leasing. So which is not applicable to a finance car. If you finance a car, you own it outrightly. You can drive it the way you like for any distance that you like. And the reason they give you this restriction on mileage is simply because, but let's say you lease it for, the lease period usually maybe like 5 to 7 years, even for financing as well. So let's say you lease it for 5 to 7 years, they want to be able to sell it in a good condition. They want it to have good resale value, after you must have, returned the car. The second thing about lease is wear and tear. There's a limit to how you can use it. You cannot just use it anyhow, The way we use cars, you cannot use it anyhow. You will use it, well, normal wear and tear is expected, normal depreciation is expected. But for instance, if it has a dent, like a dent, maybe you must fix it. If you finance a car, it's your car. If you like, you might not fix the car, you can do whatever you like with the car. But if it's a lease, you must fix it. That's one of the things that they expect from you. So there are conditions attached to a lease. Then also, in terms of customizations, you are not really allowed to customize a leased car. If you customize it, by the time you want to return it, you must remove all customizations and make sure it goes back to its original state. But like I said, normal depreciation is allowed, obviously. So another thing for you to know again is monthly payment. For both leasing and financing, obviously you have monthly payment. However, the advantage for lease is that it is usually slightly lower than finance. If you finance a car, you are paying for the full value of the car on a monthly basis or on a bi-weekly basis, as the case may be. But if it's for leasing, you're only paying for the value of the car at that time. And of course, the value keeps going down. So leasing, payment for lease is usually a bit lower per period when you compare it with financing. So that is one thing to take note of in terms of leasing your car. Then also, another thing to take note of is the issue with early termination. Early termination meaning that you've leased the car, right? You've leased the car. Now, you're like, I don't want this car anymore. If you go back to those guys, let's say you bought from Toyota, and you go back to them and say, I don't want it anymore, they're going to charge you. There are some charges with terminating the contract because you said you don't want it anymore. You're not interested in something like that. But if it's financing, if you don't want the car anymore, sell it, return their money, and move on. But if you do that with financing, the problem is if you sell your car, depending on how much you've paid away from it, you could fall into negative equity, which means that by the time you sell the car, the value or the amount you got from the car is not even enough to pay back the amount you are still owing. But that's a topic for another day. So those are the differences between leasing and financing, and depending on your circumstance, depending on what you really want, depending on the things you look forward to and your financial situation, leasing might be the best for you, honestly, or financing might be the best for you. So all you need to do is go to a dealer, either a used car lot, or if it's a brand new one you want, just go there, tell them what you want, and they will do some checks. They will actually do some checks. So the first check is they will check your credit score. If you want to do a lease or finance, the only time they will not be doing all those things if you are paying cash. But if you want to do anything leasing or financing, they will check your credit score. Your credit score must be high enough for them to want to do business with you. Then everything is just to make sure that they just want to be sure that you're able to pay back. That's all. So they will check your credit score. They will check your credit history. What's the length of your credit history? How have you been paying back? That's where the use of credit comes in. You must use credit card. Use it responsibly. If you don't use credit card, you must use something that you have to be paying back, because that's the way they can look at your track record. That's what they call credit history. This guy always pay back on time and in full. Nice. So that's the way it works. So they will check your credit history. They will also ask you, where do you work, or they want to see proof of employment. So what I'm talking about is either for financing or for leasing. Applies to both. They want to see, where do you work, letter of employment, let's see your pay stub. They ask for your pay stub or pay slip, just to be sure that you actually earn income and how much you earn. And with this, they will now determine if you need to pay a down payment or not. So they may ask you to pay a down payment, not because your income is not high enough. It could just simply be because you don't have credit history that is long enough. They may ask you to also pay down payment, not because of those other two reasons, but because your score is not high enough. So various factors go into what makes them take those decisions, right? So you have to be ready for that. Then if it's a new car and the car is not readily available, because only new cars are the ones that they'll say, we are shipping it in, it's in production. They may ask you to pay a deposit, not even the down payment now, deposit, usually like $1,000. You have to pay $1,000 so that they will hold it for you, that when the car comes, okay, Then if you need to pay a deposit to add to it and all that, and if you're lucky, you don't need to pay a deposit. But if you pay deposit again, the advantage with deposit is that it reduces your monthly payment. So that is everything you need to know about getting a car in Canada. And as a newcomer, you want to hit the ground running, you might just, oh, I love this street. And obviously I've been here before, but I mean, it's autumn already and the leaves are falling. Unfortunately, you guys cannot see what I'm saying. The leaves are falling and it's so beautiful, you know. Anyway, guys, so that's all you need to know before I go out of point. That's all you need to know about leasing and financing a car and what your options are. And I bet you can finance a car after you have a credit score or you have a credit history. But you won't be able to finance or lease a car if you have no credit score or no credit history. And it takes at least 1 to 3 months for you to have something meaningful in terms of credit score or credit history after you start using your credit card. So that will be all, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for always tuning in. And if this has been of help to you, please remember to like. And if you're not subscribed, please remember to subscribe. And also do well to share it with your people. See you guys later. Bye.